Hello students, I am Gurmadhav Sharma and today I will discuss an introduction of economics. So first of all, we will define the economics and what is economics. Let's start. So defining economics is a very complex task because human wants and needs are complex in nature. Human wants and needs are unlimited while resources are scarce or limited in nature. So different economists tried to define the economics differently in different ways. We will define the economics but in general terms or general accepted form. So if we will talk the definition of economics, then we can define it as a science and academic discipline. Economics can be defined as a science and academic discipline which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means. So economics is a science. How economics is a science? Economics also has basic principles and some universal principles, universal thoughts, universal ideas which can be applied each and everywhere. In each and every economic activities, economics principles can be applied easy way, in a very easy manner. So economics is a science and it is also an academic discipline. An academic discipline. Economics evolved in a gradual steps, slowly in step by step format. So economics is a subject, economics is an academic discipline. It has been evolved in various steps, in various phases, in various processes. So economics studies human behavior. What kind of human behavior is there? Economic behavior and activities of economic in nature. Okay, so economic activities and economic behavior is studied here. So as a relationship between ends and scarce, what does it mean? Economics is a science and academic discipline which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means. You know very well that resources are limited and scarce in nature while our wants and needs are unlimited. All the things are available in a limited way. If we will think about the water, then water may be available in whole of the world. Water may be available easily, but pure water is limited. Pure water is resource, while impure water may not be used as resource. Okay, so resources are limited and scarce in nature. So economics is a science and academic discipline which studies human behavior, particularly economic behavior, where we study economic activities like production, consumption and distribution. Production, distribution and consumption as a relationship between ends and scarce means. We have limited and scarce nature of resources, so we have limited choices. We adopt the choices, we make the choices, our society make the choices between different resources so that his or her wants and needs can be optimized. So economics is a science and academic discipline which studies human behavior, particularly economic behavior, as a relationship between ends and scarce means. Suppose a student wants to be an IAS officer and he has limited resources. He may be financially limited or any other type of limitation may be there. So nowadays students can adopt online platform, online classes, because he has limited resources, he can't attend the offline classes, so he can attend the online classes in a very easy way by using internet, by using mobile or laptop. So he has made the choices to go online platform because he has limited resources and online platform are very convenient in nature, so he can opt this means or this resources. So we have defined the economics as a science and academic discipline. Now come to the next point. We can define economics in different way, but all the definitions we are taking here are are correlated with our primary definition which we discussed earlier. Economics is the study of how individuals and societies make the choices. We are making the choices, our society is making choices because we have limited resources and scarce in nature. Use the scarce resources that have already been provided to us. These resources are provided by old generations, by our nature, and we will also transfer our resources to next generation. Okay. So economics is the study of individuals. Economics is the study of individuals and societies, and societies make the choices to use the scarce resources that have already been provided. And now economics is the study of how scarce resources are allocated among conflicting demands. Demands may be different and we need to utilize our resources accordingly. And now if we highlight who is the father of economics, then father of economics is Adam Smith. Father of modern economics is Adam Smith. He wrote his books An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nations. An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nations in 1776. So we have discussed the definition. What are the definitions of economics? Now let us come to the next point. Let's discuss next point. What is classification of economics? So economics can be classified into two forms. First one microeconomics and second one macroeconomics. So microeconomics deals with the basic economic units like consumer, firm, input, etc. Macroeconomics, what does it mean? Micro means a small constituent part or a small unit or a small part. So microeconomics deals with the small constituent parts of whole economy. Small constituent parts of whole economy. So economics, microeconomics will deal with consumer behavior, producer behavior, demand and supply. Such kind of market variables may be discussed in microeconomics at small or sub-unit. So microeconomics is there, and after that microeconomics provide the information relating to the individual prices, individual consumption and individual production. At the level of microeconomics, we generally use individual terms, individual firm, individual business, individual production, individual consumption. So microeconomics deals with the small or sub-unit or individual unit. Okay. And after that, if we will discuss macroeconomics, then macro is a Greek term. Micro is also Greek term, which micro term indicates a small or sub-unit, while macro is a Greek term which indicates holistic part or broader part. Okay. So macroeconomics studies the whole economy or large groups. Macroeconomics studies the whole economy or large groups. It provides the information relating to the national income, total output and total consumption and general prices. So macroeconomics studies the whole economy or large groups. It generally deals with the holistic part. It deals with the Indian economy. So what is Indian economy? Indian economy is the study of complete economy of India. And what are the decisions are being taken by the government comes under Indian economy. So Indian economy is a part of macroeconomics, while a firm decision or business decisions are taken under the microeconomics. So both the terms are defined under the classification of economics. Classification of economics into two parts, microeconomics and macroeconomics, which we already discussed. Now come to the next point. So now we will discuss what is economy. Economy is an area of production, distribution and consumption of the goods and services by different economic agents. What are these economic agents? These economic agents may be business firms, consumer or some individual units. Okay. So economics deals with the human behavior when they participate in economic activities, and these economic activities are the production, distribution and consumption of goods and services. Economy is an area and active part of economics. Economics deals with the theoretical and very academic discipline. So now economy is an area of the economic activities like production, distribution and consumption of goods and services by different economic agents. These economic agents may be individuals, consumers, firms, etc. Okay, clear? And economics in action. It indicates the broader picture of the economic activities. Every country, every company and every family all have their economies. In our households, every family makes his budget. Suppose we have to spend 10,000 rupees in these activities. So what is it? It is economy of family, and some of the budget or some of the finance is allocated for fulfilling his or her wants. So economy is a broader picture of our economic activities. Every country, every company and every family all have their economies, all have their budgets. We will discuss budget, annual financial statement and Article 112 of Indian Constitution later on. Okay, so let's come to the next point. How we can classify the sectors of economy. We generally classify the economy on the basis of three categories: on the basis of nature of job, on the basis of working conditions and on the basis of ownership. If we categorize on the basis of nature of job, then we can classify in three popular parts: primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, and some other classification comes under this category: quaternary sector and quinary sector. We will also discuss this thing. So first of all, let us discuss what is primary sector and which activities comes under the primary sector. So primary sector is concerned with the extraction of raw materials. Agriculture, mining, fishing, forestry, dairy, etc. are some examples of the primary sector. Okay, clear? So on the basis of nature of job, we have discussed first classification, first category, that means primary sector. So primary sector is concerned with the extraction of raw materials, and some of the activities or some of the examples are agriculture, mining, dairy, forestry, fishing, etc. Okay. And if we talk about the secondary sector, then it includes the industries where finished products are made from raw materials. Raw materials are being provided by the primary sector and finished products are being made under the secondary sector. Some of the examples of secondary sector like manufacturing and construction sector. Okay, so we have discussed secondary sector. Now we will discuss tertiary sector. What is tertiary sector? This sector is popularly known as service sector. This sector activities help in the development of primary and secondary sectors. These activities by themselves do not produce goods, but they are an aid or advantage or support for the production process. We can take some of the examples like transport, storage, communication, banking, finance, insurance, etc. These kind of activities may be there. These kind of activities are the part of tertiary sector. So we can cover these sectors under this category. These activities generate service sector services rather than goods. Therefore, the tertiary sector is also called as service sector. Tertiary sector is also called as service sector. Now we will discuss quaternary sector. What is quaternary sector? Quaternary sector can be classified. Quaternary sector can be defined as the knowledge sector. It is the knowledge sector, and activity related to knowledge comes under or fall under this category. So education, research and development, etc. comes under the quaternary sector. And if we will define and if we will categorize in another format, that is quinary sector, then quinary sector are the decisions under the quinary sector. All activities where top decisions are made under it. Top decisions, whether these are government decisions or whether these are private sector decisions. So very important decisions and top level decisions and top level officials comes under quinary sector. The number of people involved in this sector is very low rather than complete bureaucracy of government. Complete of bureaucracy of government does not come under this section, but the bureaucracy which takes top decisions, come under quinary sector, and private sector, private corporate sector which take top level decisions which are responsible for the socio-economic performance economy is under the quinary sector. So this sector can be called as brain behind socio-economic performance of the economy. So we have discussed on the basis of nature of job, three categories are there: primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. These are the popular classification, but quaternary sector and quinary sector is also most popular in 21st century. This classification is also existed. So on the basis of working condition, if we will classify, then these are the two sectors like organized sector and unorganized sector. Organized sector has defined and classified regulations, terms and conditions, etc. Most of the organized sector in India covered by the Company Act 2013. Before 2013, it was the Act of Company Act 1956. So organized sector has defined wages, defined salary and defined norms, PF, ESI, etc. And in unorganized sector, such terms and conditions does not exist. Like agriculture sector, it is very unorganized sector. So in unorganized sector, clear wages is not defined and clear terms and conditions are not defined. And if we define on the basis of, if we categorize on the basis of ownership, then these are two categories: private sector and public sector. So if the ownership is in the hand of private or corporate sector or private players, then it is called as private sector. And if the ownership of resources are under public or government, then it is called as public sector. Okay, then it is called as public sector. So we have defined and classified the sectors of economy. Okay, so now come to the next point: types of economies. There may be three types of economic system or economies, like capitalist economy, socialist economy or mixed economies. Here we will try to answer three questions: what to produce, how to produce and for whom to produce. So here capitalist economy gives this answer with the help of market and demand and supply. Market, demand and supply comes under capitalist economy. It is called as competitive economy, it is called as consumer based economy, or it is called as laissez-faire economy. Okay, and after that socialist economy. Socialist economy deals with the production, supply and prices which are controlled by the government, and social security and social welfare and the primary aims of government comes under socialist economy. And mixed kind of economy, if we will talk, then mixed format of capitalist and socialist economy. Private sector and public sector both complement each other's effort and both try to answer what to produce, how to produce and whom to produce, for whom to produce. Okay, so it is clear, this classification is very clear: capitalist economy, socialist economy and mixed economy. Okay students, it is very clear. In capitalist economy, profit is the main motivating factor. In socialist economy, welfare is the main motivating factor, and in mixed economy, profit and welfare both the motivating factor. Okay, so let's come to the next point. Now we have already discussed all the points, and hopefully you have understood all the things, and next and many other factors will be discussed in later phases. Thank you very much.